Well, welcome to the seventh of 8 videos looking at the symbolic frame. Hey, you're almost at the end, and what we're going to do during this frame is dig in a little bit chapter 14 and look at organization as theater. And this is actually a pretty short presentation, but a lot to it and a lot to think about in terms of the symbolic frame and how it works in a particular organization. So let's start off and look at your standard meeting. So when you go into a meeting, what happens if you were to go into a meeting and instead of looking at that meeting from the structural frame, instead came in and looked at it as a theater? That the organization is the interaction of actors and actresses. What is your role in that meeting? What do others perceive your role in that meeting? What is your script? What are others anticipating that you will say? And what are they anticipating as their response? Who's depending on you to deliver lines so that they can deliver their lines? And then what costume should you be wearing while you're engaged in this theater that we call an organization? So again, it's a very different way of thinking about meetings, of thinking about the interaction that's taking place. And instead of there being this idea of intended rational purpose to the meeting actually has a very different way of looking at that, so that you're reinforcing a perception, if you will, a frame, if you will, that ties back to our fears, joys, beliefs, and expectations. And so again, it's a very different way of looking at your standard meeting and figuring out how you're going to interact. And I would challenge you the next time you're preparing for a meeting to think back. What is my role in this meeting? What is my script? Who depends on that script? And what costume should I be wearing as I deliver my lines? There are other components associated with this. Projects are a different mechanism, your organizational structure. Here's, for example, a different view of innovation. And I'll comment a bit on this as well. Think about this from the symbolic frame again. From the symbolic frame, it matters not whether the parts of the system functioned or even existed. It mattered only that certain people, for a certain period of time, believed that they did. And if you look at challenges in innovating an organization, if you look at challenges in shared governance, let's say that you're moving to shared services within an organization, and you've got 4 or 5 different groups fighting this particular form of innovation. Does it matter that they all agree, or does it matter that they all believe the other players agree, and thus they're isolated and unable to fight this particular innovation? A very interesting perspective. So this is not about lying or not lying. It's about building the story, a consistent, coherent story that allows you to advance the organization. If you're working in a particular organization that has multiple departments, is it important that each department is innovating? Or is it more important that each department believes the other departments are innovating and thus they better start innovating? Again, a very different way of thinking about problems that face an organization. And while I've only had 2 slides within this particular short video, my hope is they cause you to pause. They cause you to look at the routine, projects and meetings and organizational structures, and think about them through a very, very different set of lenses, and think about problems through a very, very different set of lenses, so that you can use symbols and drama and stories and myths and ceremony and rituals to reinforce the values that you want within that organization and to lead change within that organization? Can you be the symbolic leader? All right, well, very good. Guess what? We're down to one video left, so this brings us to an end of the 7th of 8 videos. Some meaty ideas there. You might need to go back and look at this video again. Try to apply it within your own company, your own group, and see where it fits. Next video, we're going to bring it all together and talk about organizations and organizational structures as theater, but dig into some other aspects of it. See you then.